So a few days ago, I put out a question on Facebook asking if the DA has now changed its attitude about fighting the so-called ANC corruption. I'll use so-called for now. So in this video, I want to deal with three things. Firstly, the DA situation. Secondly, I want to discuss my envisaged two centers of power in the ANC. And thirdly, I'm going to discuss the MK Party as well. So let's start by dealing with the DA situation. So Helen Zille actually is on record saying they joined the GNU precisely because they want to prevent what she calls a doomsday coalition. She said a situation where the MKP, the ANC and the EFF come together to form a government, there would be a doomsday coalition because there would be a concern from an investor point of view. He said that would have an effect on the investor confidence in the country, because there would be a lot of left-wing political parties forming a government. So by its nature, the ANC, if you look at its policies, you look at its members, you look at its high-ranking officials, they are a center-left organization. So those who've been following me for quite some time understand what it means to be on the left, and they understand what it means to be on the right and to be on the center as well. So parties on the left would be your EFF, your ATM, your MKP, your PAC, and on the right would be political parties like your Freedom Front Plus. So DA, as much as they like to portray themselves as a center, organization, I believe, in my opinion, they are a center right. They lean more towards the right. And the ANC is in the center, but they lean more towards the left. Parties on the center would be your Build One South Africa for All, Musi Maimane's party, like your Action SA. Those parties would be on the center. But if you look at the ANC and its high-ranking officials, Panyaza Lesufi, Paul Mashatile, Fikile Mbalula, those guys are more on the left, and Cyril Ramaphosa is more on the right. So he is the pillar, of the GNU, and he's the one who's able to bring everyone together, the right-wing elements and the left-wing elements. He's the one who's able to bring everyone together to try and form a government of national unity. So he is central to parties on the right and center-right joining the government of national unity. He's one person the DA wouldn't want to get rid of, He's one person, because they don't know what would happen if a Paul Mashatile or a Fikile Mbalula could take over the reins, in the ANC, which could possibly open a window of opportunity for the left-wing, elements to come into the government of national unity. Would that be a comfortable situation for the DA? I don't know. I don't think so. I think it would be a very uncomfortable situation. And the fact that the DA and EFF have worked together in metros back in 2016, it would just make things a little bit more difficult. If you were following the DA policy and elective conference over the past weekend, SMWX, which is Susan Bofu Welsh's podcast, asked almost every high-ranking DA official one question. Are they going to do something about the Phala Phala scandal? A lot of them were, a little bit, wishy-washy about that situation, because they don't want to come out into the open. They don't want to do anything that might settle Ramaphosa's position in the ANC and subsequently in the country as well. So they aren't as vociferous as they were about Phala Phala, about President Cyril Ramaphosa's shortcomings, and they're no longer supporting any, motion of no confidence against the president. They were tabling motions of no confidence against ANC presidents, which includes Cyril Ramaphosa, by the way, before they joined the government of national unity. They're no longer doing that. Why? Because they wouldn't want to get rid of that person who is central to them joining the government of national unity. Whether they're doing it for themselves, the benefits that come with being in government, the cabinet positions, the salaries, the blue lights, and being able to approve certain tenders, or they are doing it to prevent the economy of South Africa from collapsing. The bottom line is the DA doesn't want to lose Cyril Ramaphosa as the president of the ANC, because he is key to them being part of the government of national unity. So now they've already started playing their chess game. What is the chess game here? I think John Steenhuisen, exercised maturity by leaving at the right time. Now the incoming leader of the DA, Jordan Hill-Lewis, clearly stated that he doesn't want any government position. Why? So that he's able to speak independently from the outside. Now he's going to be able to speak against Ramaphosa from the outside. So it wouldn't look like the DA is just folding his arms and, not pointing out any, wrongdoings that the ANC might be committing So there is the DA chess game at this point in time. We'll see what happens. Maybe they might support a motion of no confidence in the president closer to 2029 elections. That is possible because, there would be little or no time left. I think that is the chess game now that the DA is playing, because these people that are part of the government cannot speak against the president. At the same time, they're now going to have someone from the outside speaking against the president. As for the ANC, because most people fear this state of uncertainty. The country is now in uncharted waters by virtue of having a coalition government or government of national unity, where no party enjoys a 50+1 majority. If what Mbalula and Helen Zille and these other politicians say is anything to go by, there will be a concern from an investor perspective if we have a lot or too many left political parties in the government. If I were a member of the ANC, or if I were a high-ranking ANC official, I would have advised them to try the two centers of power. I would have said, look, we need someone, as the ANC, we need someone who is known to be a full member of the ANC to lead the organization. I would have gone for a Paul Mashatile or a Fikile Mbalula or even a Panyaza Lesufi to lead the organization. But the presidential candidate should be someone in whom the investors have confidence. Just get Motsipe to be the presidential candidate and Mbalula to lead the ANC. That would be a perfect situation because, Patrice Motsipe, his business background and reputation are well documented, and he's got connections, and these people coming from the outside who want to come and invest, in the country, and even people from these other organizations like the DA, they believe in Patrice Motsipe's business acumen. So I'd have said, okay, let's just make him a presidential candidate, but let someone else who is perceived to be a full-time member of the ANC to lead the organization. And lastly, the MKP. Most of its members are so confident that the MKP is going to win some metros in the upcoming local government elections and some city municipalities as well. So I think a lot of how well they do in the 2029 national and provincial government elections hinges on how well they do, in the upcoming local government elections. And if they do win some metros and some city municipalities as they've promised, and they deliver, then that can help grow their numbers in the 2029 national and provincial government elections. I think we can't comment too much about the MKP until those local government elections happen, and then we'll see. They might not win some city municipalities, but if they do win, it depends on whether they deliver or not. I think it's interesting times for them heading towards this year's local government elections, and that's where we will see if they are ready to lead this country or to be part of the government of this country.